Hey guys, I didn't actually expect that much positive feedback on my first video of this series, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm really glad that you guys enjoy it as much as I enjoy making these types of videos, so I'll be happy to make more of these whenever I can. If you hear running in the background, please ignore that. That's my dog has the zoomies. I took him on a walk to try and get out his excess energy before doing this, and instead it just made him more energetic. So last video I did cats I don't like, and now I'm gonna do cats I do like as a sequel because it just makes sense. I really only dislike characters if they're like just they're if they just kind of piss me off, and if they just like annoy me a lot, or if they're badly written. And for cats that I do like, though, I like them because they're well written, but also there's some cats that they just appeal to me for no particular reason. So that's going to be its whole new section. For example, Tiger Star and Scourge, they are just fucking, my god, they're childhood icons for me. It's not, they aren't the best written, most brutal villains in Warrior Cats history, but they're just they're iconic. So I like them by default. Honestly, they were a huge part of my childhood. In a section of cats I do like, mainly because of personality, I want to give runner-up positions to Alderheart and Needletail, for two cats that had the most semblance of a personality before it was either cut short in Needletail's case, or in Alderheart they just kind of went like, okay, no more. Because he was really nice. He was like a really fucking. I swear, I'm in a mood today. He was real. he was very he was very shy and insecure, and I know like he Leaf Pool, or someone had a dream where he like entered the moon pool or something like that. He was supposed to be a medicine cat, that's fine. But it does really feel like everyone's like, yeah, you're just really terrible at being a warrior, dude. You should go to the medicine cat den. I'm just kind of obsessed with that. Nothing's wrong with him, he's just bad at ice. Nothing's wrong with him, he's just really bad at he's really bad at doing what he does, and I think that's really funny. He was he was kind of, antsy, shy type, kind of like Ravenpaw, but then in somewhere in the second half of A Vision of Shadows, in which again have not read it, have not read in a while, have basically kind of repressed all of that. He just kind of like changes and is like, oh yeah, okay, let's do this, yeah, just landed personality. And it's like, okay. Needletail, I think her character arc was super interesting, and also, yeah, she had a semblance of a personality. I'm just really sad that she died as early as she did, even though I think to have her keep on living would have kind of been redundant. But I did enjoy her arc. I know that there's a big discourse around whether she was a good person to Violet Paw or not. Personally, I think that she was a child. I think that she was like, I want to say like maybe the equivalent of a 14-year-old who had a crush on like some older teen and was really mad at her parents, mad at the world. It's not a phase, mom, type ass. Oh my god. I gotta like get a shock collar or something. She was she was just a rebel, and I think that she was kind of stupid because she was a teen and she was just trying to rebel against ShadowClan. I don't think that she was intentionally trying to hurt Violet Kit, but she sure did put her in a lot of danger with the kin. She made a lot of bad choices, but she ultimately sacrificed herself to do the right thing, and I really appreciate that. Another cat in this category as a runner-up, is Hawkwing. He is so stupid. He is the ultimate himbo. People are like, oh, Vineblaze is a himbo, when Hawkwing is right there. He's so stupid, and I love him. Just his entire Super Edition, I think, is, again, I haven't read like any Super Edition in a while, but I do remember. I think it was one of my favorites in terms of like writing, but also it was so brutal. Like half of SkyClan just got killed or taken away, and it was like it was awe-inspiring to read as these cats just kind of pushed through. On that note, yeah, I adore Leaf Star. She's my favorite current leader. I think that she's very practical and smart, and one of the only people who actually kind of kind of knows what she's doing in this arc. But back to Hawkwing. He he. I think the order was everyone. I think the order was everyone was like, um, yeah, he liked Darktail first. He was like, "Hey guys, look at this guy I found," and everyone was like, "What are you doing? Get him away from here." And he liked Darktail a lot, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, "Yeah, no, yeah, Darktail's pretty trustworthy," and he's like, "Are you kidding? No, he's not. He's terrible." Just like completely flipping back and forth on that, and then he just gets blindsided by him, and I just like I really like seeing his character arc go from this like hot-headed stupid little man going into this like a lot more mature and like still kind of stupid but like not as much, and him being a foster father and everything was really nice. But ultimately, the cats I like most in terms of their arcs and personality, Jay Feather and Hollyleaf, of course. I have again. I keep feeling the need to say this because it's important, but I will say, haven't read like a whole lot. I'm sorry, I dropped my phone. I haven't read a whole lot, but I have been reading this rewrite of Power of Three called Red and Silver by Shami, who is a animator in the Warriors community. You should go subscribe to them because they're really good. It is a AU fix it up type with a twist in it, but also mainly J-Paw isn't forced to be a medicine cat, which I very much appreciate, and also reading it makes me just really hate the original Power of Three a little bit more in terms of their ableism, because I don't. I think that unconsciously the Aarons kind of believe that a blind cat can't be a warrior. It can't work that way, even though I think that's stupid. And I think that they push that narrative onto the rest of the clans subconsciously. And I think it's really interesting how J-Paw deals with that, because in other clans, some cats are pretty rude to him because of his blindness, but in ThunderClan, they just kind of have this awkward pity. They all kind of look down on him and was like, "Oh, you poor little baby." And he really, really hates that. He's constantly kind of, he can tell that everyone kind of looks down on him, and it does kind of suck. Like, it's not a justification at all, because he is like just a total jerk about it, but the way he describes Brightheart and Longtail when he first gets trained, I think it's really interesting because it has to do with his perception of himself, that he believes because he's so like he's so useless in his own mind that Firestar would have to put on the other useless cats to train him, because he doesn't think he's good enough. So by extension, any cat that would have to be forced to train him is also, to that extent, not as good in his eyes. And which is still a really awful way to think. I love Brightheart and Longtail. I think that they're great cats, and J-Paw, like, I think he does eventually suck it up. You know, like he stops being a jerk to them, which is nice. But it is kind of interesting to think about it in that way. I do think, I guess just reading this rewrite really makes me think about it a lot. To be fair, there was a whole prophecy thing, but he was really dead set on being a warrior. He wanted to be a warrior. He knew a bit about herbs and stuff, but he really wanted to be a warrior. And I think for the plot reasons, he was supposed to become a medicine cat, so the Aarons wrote in that, like, he gets a dream and he realizes he has to be a medicine cat. I was like, oh, okay. So he gives up and he's like, yeah, I'm going to be a medicine cat now. I think that's very, very out of character for him, especially with how dead set on becoming a warrior he is. And so seeing this AU where he does push through and decide to be a warrior despite everything that everyone is saying about what StarClan's saying and the Leaf Pool's saying and all of ThunderClan is saying you can't be a warrior, you have to be a medicine cat. And him pushing back against that is much more in character than the Jay Feather we know, but is also just it's more uplifting, and it also, I guess, kind of spoilers a bit for Red and Silver, but it is described that when Spotted Leaf is telling him to be a medicine cat and he's like, no, I won't, she's kind of scared of him because she realizes she can't boss him around, and that gives more substance to the prophecy being like, oh, we don't know if these cats are going to be good or evil, because having J-Paw force his own destiny at that point makes it seem like he's not dead set on being good. He's not guaranteed to be a good guy. I don't know exactly what route this rewrite's going to take, but I'm very excited, and I'm really glad to see actual moral grayness be written into this prophecy, because again, it's this whole thing of like, oh my god, are these cats going to be good or evil? And they were all good. It was not. It was very stupid. Hollyleaf, on the other hand, I think it's super interesting and also original to see not only a cat that wants to be a medicine cat, because we barely get that, but a cat that wants to be a medicine cat for power, not because they like healing. Because the few cats that we get that actually want to be a medicine cat, like Little Shine, Mothwing, Leaf Pool, they all are like, yeah, I want to heal people, I'm fascinated with herbs and all this. Hollyleaf from the beginning, and I do remember this from the site, but it also is in the rewrite. She sees Leaf Pool being able to heal the sick, and she sees Leaf Pool having like connections with StarClan and like power that goes above the warrior code, and that she can, like, she's not bound to her clan, technically. She sees that and she's instantly intrigued by that, which is interesting. A lot of cats with ambition are kind of like Tiger Star, like, oh, I want power, I want to be evil and take over. Or like cats, I believe Blue Star was more like this, in which like she just wanted to take care of her clan, which I respect. But Hollyleaf does have that more darker ambition in that she wants power. Not necessarily to be evil. I think that she's very lawful neutral. I think that she just really wants to uphold the code, and I think it would have been very, very interesting if she became a leader. But she was training as a medicine cat strictly for the power, but she was not good at memorizing herbs, and she hated healing people because it was gross and it would sting, and cats would feel pain, and she would be like, oh no, I'm so sorry, and she would just be really bad at it. And she also really, very much so, enjoyed being a warrior more. I think having a cat who chooses to be a medicine cat but then isn't cut out for it and becomes a warrior, versus this constant trope of being a warrior, oh, you have to be a medicine cat because XYZ, is a lot more interesting and original than, again, that trope that they keep pulling in warriors. I think that having a cat that's very bound to the warrior code, genuinely, I mean, not like the imposter who, in the darkness within excerpt, it was revealed that it was all a sham. It was all Ashford was doing that specifically as an excuse to hurt all of the clans and manipulate Shadow Sight. He does not actually care about the code. Hollyleaf, when she found out that her existence went against it, she had a mental breakdown. I don't really recall any other characters that are as loyal to the code as she is. And I think that's really fascinating. I also think the dark turn that she goes with her character, in which, again, with that breakdown, she kills a cat. That's against the code too. Like, she kills Ashford. And there is that confusion in like the Ultimate Guide or wherever, like Bramblestar lies and said Ashford attacked first, and everyone believes that, and the Aarons mistook that as canon and wrote it in the guide, but it was for a fact that it is described in Sunrise that she methodically stalked and killed him, completely intentionally, not blinded by rage or anything. She knew what she was doing. She wanted to silence him, and then before that she took a turn. I I think it took a turn because at that point all they knew is that Squirrelflight wasn't their real mother. Ashfur tried to kill them, and Ashfur was going to try and ruin their lives and Squirrelflight's life. So I think that she killed him for that reason. I think that the break that led to her revealing the secret at the gathering, which is ironic, was like, well, you killed Ashfur, now you're going to do the same thing. But the reason why she did that is because she found out that she is the kit of a ThunderClan medicine cat and a WindClan warrior, which is worse than just having like, oh, my mom wasn't my real mom. But she just found out, like, yeah, her entire existence breaks numerous laws in the universe, and she snaps because of that. And it was an epic downfall. It's heartbreaking to see, but it was a very interesting character arc. I'm just really disappointed that they brought her back for a book and then instantly killed her off. I think she would be amazing in this current arc. I would have loved to see her, like, Squirrelflight's acting leader, and she's like, oh, Vine Blaze. Why? Yeah, he trained some apprentices, but what else, what other qualities does he have that makes him so good to be leader? I'm just saying that, like, if Hollyleaf was alive, she would be perfect deputy material. Honestly, I love Squirrelflight. I would have loved to see Squirrelstar, but at the end of the day, if Bramblestar had to become leader, I think, and if Hollyleaf was still alive, she should have become deputy. She should be leader. All I'm saying, seeing a cat that's so dedicated to the code, but not necessarily, like, I want to protect my clan and make everyone happy, but she is just dedicated to the code at all costs, whether that's good or bad. It's super interesting. Perfect leader material. I would have loved to see it, and I'm just very sad that they kind of threw that away. They've really messed that up, in my opinion. Some other miscellaneous cats that I do kind of like: Mothwing and Feathertail with their novella and then graphic book stuff, respectively. Wow. On that note, seeing through their point of views, I did not give a second glance to Feathertail at all. I was just like, Crowpaw liked her, and then she died. But seeing that graphic novel and seeing her not vengeance, I mean just her grudge against the cats that tried to kill her is very refreshing, because I didn't think about that at all, which I wish I did. It's like it's a perfect perspective to see that. They kind of toss out Stormfur with that and just like, oh yeah, he's fine with everyone. But I really like seeing Feathertail hold a grudge rightfully against the clan for what they did. I like the idea of her wanting to go to ThunderClan, and I wish that she could have. I really would have liked to see if she could have lived. I would like to see what she would have done with Crowpaw, knowing her perspective on RiverClan. She forgives Leopard Star for the sake of ending the graphic novel. It's like, okay, falling action, whatever. It's like resolution. Yay, it's all forgiven, it's all done. But if she still had this kind of uncomfortable feeling with RiverClan, it would have been very interesting to see what would have happened had she survived. Mothwing, her, it's not just training as a warrior and then becoming a medicine cat, because we've seen that. And we've even seen training as a warrior and then actually wanting to become a medicine cat, like Mudfur. But it's that, but also everyone looks down at her because she's not clan-born. And everyone's like, well, I don't know, we gotta get a sign. And she just really, really wants it. And she's so happy to find a sign that she can become a medicine cat. But then that's instantly tainted, knowing that Hawkfrost faked it all along to use her. And her trauma with StarClan because of that. Because I believe it's like, how could StarClan let this happen to me? Which is a very raw and fair point. I mean, I think it's that StarClan, how could StarClan let this happen if they had this power? So clearly they don't have this power to stop things, and I'm the one in control. And I've really like seeing that perspective. I think that her arc is very interesting, and I am so glad to see her stick it to Misty Star in Veil of Shadows when she refuses to come back to RiverClan. I'm so glad to see that. I adore Mothwing. I think that she's a very interesting character as a side character. Um, Moonlight and the sisters, and by extension, the Guardian cats. Try like those Sky Clan rogues. I don't know. I do like seeing other groups that aren't the clans, and I like seeing how they run. I think that the sisters aren't. I don't personally believe in like kicking out your sons, being like, okay, yeah, you're like an 8-year old now, so bye. I don't personally agree with that, but I really like their spirituality. I like how they run different from the clans. I like that Moonlight and a lot of the cats are just massive. I like that they are just basically canonically Maine Coons and they are huge. SQUIRRELFLIGHT and her big MILF girlfriend. I like their I like their dynamic. I loved Moonlight and her personality. I think that personally SQUIRRELFLIGHT should have ran off with her. I just I think that they were interesting. I like them all. Ravenpaw and Barley, I guess, are kind of in the same area as Tiger Claw and Scourge for me, in which they are icons, but I just adore them. I adore the relationship and how they're like basically canonically mates, and I think that they're just gay barn cats, and like in the mangas or whatever, like sometimes they get into fights and then they make up, and they're like they just care so much for each other. And then in Gray Stripes Vow, when we see Barley again, and he's like basically senile, and he's just really sad and missing him, and it's just like, man, I swear to God, it was like, oh, Barley's not a clean cat. You let him in Star Clan, or I swear to God, I'm not taking no for an answer there. If they don't let them be together in cat heaven, that's homophobia. I'm saying it right here. Um, Man, yeah, this whole like, oh yeah, I'm gonna separate it into different categories thing is kind of really stupid because it's not really settling into categories now. I'm just kind of listing cats. But in terms of my favorite villains, I haven't read Dawn of the Clans in forever. I remember One Eye being pretty interesting. But I have to say, in recent memory, Darktail was brutal. He had an entire cult. He was one of the most devastating villains in my opinion. He he made RiverClan go into isolation after that battle with them. He drowned cats who tried to leave the kin. He killed Rain for like undermining his authority. He was he was a very iconic villain, and he made ShadowClan completely dissolve. He just got rid of ShadowClan. And if Tiger Heart never came back, I think ShadowClan just would have been gone forever, which is very messed up to think about, but it's interesting. He had such a big impact. His backstory is like, okay, yeah, that's like I said, it's like it's kind of retconned, but it does explain his obsession with kin, with him calling his group the kin and having like the um, blood thing that he had was really weird. But he was a very interesting villain. And then I think tied with Darktail on this, but by far, I have a video discussing him. Ashfur is an icon. I am so excited to see what they do with him now, and it's like I want to talk about him, but I already talked about him in my upcoming video. That I forgot that is going to be posted after this. This is my third recording, second video to come out. Just so you know, there's going to be another video on Ashfur and the Darkness with an excerpt coming soon. But I love Ashfur. In terms of characters that I just kind of like for the hell of it, that's not technically a swear. I will say that. That's not technically a swear. All of Warrior Clan from Graystripes Vow, spoilers by the way, is perfect. I adore them. I I would read an entire series about them. I swear to God, I'm not even joking here. If there's like just a if there's an arc set about Warrior Clan following like Monkey Star and Fang and like all those cats, I would adore to see that. I'm like, yeah, cool. We got an extra manga, we got an extra graphic novel at the end. That's cool, but it's like I want more. I want to see more. I am obsessed with this idea of just these cats that hear secondhand from outside cats that vaguely knew of the clans, and then just deciding to recreate them. That is my favorite thing, and I love them. Next is just Purdy, Mousefur, and Longtail. Mousefur, again, one of the only cats with personality. And Purdy he's Purdy. I don't even have anything else to say. He's Purdy, okay? If you don't like Purdy, you need to get the fuck out. And that was on purpose too. Longtail, I'm really sad he did get shafted the way he did, but he was such an enjoyable character in that trio. I just adore them. I wish that they were all still alive. I think that Purdy's death in particular was very heartbreaking. Especially him grieving over Mousefur too. It hurt. But last cat I want to put on this list, and also one who I am entirely willing to make another video on. This may come out of nowhere. Darkstripe. Because let me get this straight. He's mentored by Tiger Star, and he mentors Longtail and Fernpaw. Nobody in the clan technically likes him. I think I remember Fernpaw, and I think this partially because she was crushing on Dustpelt. But I think that she was like, was it stated that she was specifically horrified to become his apprentice, or like just she did not like him? She was not happy with that. No one technically likes no one likes Darkstripe. Longtail didn't even really like Darkstripe. Tiger Claw did not like Darkstripe. Nobody liked him. He was just kind of this like little suck up for Tiger Star, and then he's just trying so hard to suck up for him, and then he's like, "Oh, what? You didn't tell me about your evil plans? I can't believe this," and then doesn't go with him, and then he regrets that. Obviously, he tries to help him from inside ThunderClan, and then instantly blows his cover by trying and failing to kill Sorrel Kit. He gets exiled, and then he tries to redeem himself by running over to little Tiger Star. He goes over, and Tiger Star's like, "Okay, kill this half-starved cat," and he can't even do that. He can't even kill Stonefur. It's just like, how pathetic is that? And then Tiger Star gets killed, and he's just like, I don't care about anything anymore. I'm gonna kill Firestar. I hate you so much. And he can't do that. He can't even do that. He just gets killed by Graystripe, and then he's in the Dark Forest. He's like, oh no, what am I doing? He's so pathetic. He's so pathetic. It's so funny to me. And there's just so much flavor in that. Just this little guy trying to suck up to this big battle leader and just failing in every way possible. It's my favorite. As you can see, I have a lot of passion about Darkstripe.